Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Boss Rush Gamescast, a podcast where we talk about how awesome it is that we're all millionaires right now. Tell me, guys, what's the best benefits of being millionaires?
I think I stumbled onto the wrong show.
I am on the wrong show as well. I thought we were talking about video games in this show.
Wait, so
I'm in the right place.
Okay. Someone's...
Black,
okay.
how do you spend your millions?
I wipe my butt with hundreds.
Damn, that is the best thing to do with millions. That and, like, light your cigars with those bills. Those are, like, the finest things to do.
Hey, did you know that in the United States of America, there are more $100 bills in circulation than $1 bills?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
Well, that's
I believe it. Like, honestly, why do we have coins at this point?
I know, we should abolish the penny. Come on.
Yeah, we really should. We really should.
That's what we did.
I'm still seeing pennies out there. I'm still seeing pennies out there.
No.
Yeah.
Of course, that's how McDonald's they round down, and so if it's like 54 cents, they get 4 cents for that transaction, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but they're selling hundreds of millions of burgers a day, so they're getting a lot of extra dollars because the penny's out of circulation.
Okay.
That's 4 extra pennies per transaction.
Look at that. You learn something new every day.
Yep. Well, when we're not learning something new about the penny and talking about our millions and millions, we talk about video games. Welcome.
The U.S. government will stop making pennies in 2026. It's official.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah,
At least
I thought that was like one of the first things Trump did in office was say, I'm getting rid of the penny.
I mean, yeah, it's about time. Anyway, okay, all right. Sorry, back to this.
Anyways, I am one of your hosts, Patrick Klein, and with me I have an all-star panel ranging from podcasts from Boss Rush to even a really cool podcast called Hair of the Dogcast and many others. First, let me introduce my co-host, Stephanie.
Well, hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Steph?
Doing, at least on the video game side of things, doing great. I'm just swimming in video games. There's just so many I can't keep track of them, and I'm happy to be here. It's nice to actually take the time to talk about the games we've been playing, so thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining and making the time for this. Also, I brought along the guy who brought me into the podcasting world, Mr. Stoy Jovic.
Hey, what's up? I'm still doing it, but I think I'm more been talking about like retro games lately. I keep buying old games. It's kind of a sickness. Like it is. I think it is. I really think it is. I mean, I'm not going to get treated for it because I don't really care. But
well, see, Stoy, and that is why you're not a millionaire. You keep spending money on those ding dang video games.
Really, it's like, do I need any more PlayStation 2 games? I don't, but I'm gonna keep buying them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just spent $220. I just told Pat I just spent $220 on Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo just a couple weeks ago. So,
but can I really blame you? I've been collecting N64 games because I'm expecting my Analog 3D. If they
still haven't shipped that out yet.
No.
Oh my god. Dang.
I was going to say, Stephanie got me a copy of Chrono Trigger last year, I think, for Christmas.
Ooh.
Yep. It was a bar.
It's
soap,
okay.
but,
I bought my own
just
Christmas
like
gift.
it.
Yeah.
It's a lookalike.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
well,
finally,
Steph, you're going to have to let me know how that analog thing works.
Will do.
Once she gets it.
When I get it.
Whenever that's going to be. The same time GTA 6 comes out.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. And finally, we have the lore master himself, Mr. Block. How are you doing,
Don't
Block?
build me up that much. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Thank you for joining us, my friend.
We had a 20-minute conversation. You had a 20-minute conversation on the entire lore of Silent Hill F before we hit record. You're the lore master.
That was just the first page of about 40 that I have.
Well, I do think that, Pat, you got the right people on it. Not necessarily me. I mean, maybe me for a fresh perspective, but you got Stoy. And I remember back when I was on one of your podcasts, and you're talking about waiting for the Silent Hill 2 remake, which was still a rumor back then. So we got you, and then we got Block. I think we got all the right people for this.
Yep. Nope. I made sure this was a particularly curated cast of people to be able to share their most expert opinions on Silent Hill F. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about other games that we've been playing. So, Stoy, tell me, what have you been playing lately?
I've been playing Dispatch.
Mm.
And have you played Dispatch, right?
I fucking love Dispatch.
I love the fuck out of Dispatch.
Tell me about Dispatch.
I thought it was hilarious that we got a penis shot within the first 20 minutes of the game starting. That was hilarious. That was like, oh, there it is right there.
The wolf is really among us.
Yes.
Yep.
But it's funny because I thought there would be more of those moments because the game is curated around, like, you know, you're a dispatcher for a ragtag group of heroes and you're dispatching them to, you know, certain crimes around town, whatever. And it's like a mini game, you know, and you do that maybe a couple times, 1 or 2 times in each episode. I honestly thought that the episodes would be longer and there would be more of those, but the episodes are pretty short and they keep you kind of going. So it's like, you're not stuck on the gameplay for so long that you don't know what the story is, how the story is evolving. But Phenomenon Man
feels like it's just watching a TV show. Like,
yeah, it really is.
You might as well be binging a Netflix show because that's what this game feels like.
Yeah. The
It's
art is
not
so well
nearly
done.
as interactive as like Wolf Among Us or other Telltale games.
Not as much. Like in every episode, like you had those like quick time events that happen quite often, and I maybe a couple times I saw this in Dispatch, but it wasn't necessarily like fight sequences like in Wolf Among Us. So most of the gameplay is surrounded around
your character,
so you don't walk around the office or anything like that. Okay,
no. So most of the gameplay is tied around that dispatching stuff. You know, it's like, hey, I'm going to send you there. And then it's like whatever the chances of success, you know, you send certain people with certain skills or whatever. I like Sonar. Sonar is my favorite. Sonar, he's such a...
all the time.
Yeah, dude, he's my most powerful character. And I mean, I don't have to talk about certain choices, but I guess one choice in particular, did you pick Phenomenon or Phenomena Man? Is that his name? Phenomena Man?
So that comes fast.
Yeah, or the Water Boy. Who'd you pick?
I chose Phenomena Man.
Yeah, same. So that poor guy, I felt sorry for him.
I did too, but I've heard either choice is, you know, decent to go with.
Yeah, I suppose. Otherwise, been getting my shit pushed in playing Ninja Gaiden 4.
Ooh.
I'm sorry.
That game is so good. But and then Outer Worlds 2. I've been kind of cranking away on that. And then Vampire the Masquerade 2, I'm liking a lot more than I thought I would. Really? Falling in love with the lore and the story and the characters than anything.
Yeah, I've heard that if you look at it as just what it is, it's fine. If you try to compare it to the original, I think you run into a problem. I haven't played it. I've watched a little bit because I've been interested in it, and I really like the original game because I think it was just so open and fun to role play in. And I've heard that it's not quite like that.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it right there. I mean, I think you got a lot of old fans of the original one. I admittedly, I never beat the original one. I did dabble in it years ago, but I think what a lot of people are, at least from what I've read, a lot of people are upset that there's not a lot of like life-changing or world-changing decisions or events. You know, the story just moves along no matter what you say or how you respond to things. You know, you'll talk to someone and you'll get that little, you know, tick on the upper corner, like, oh, someone's agitated by that, or someone's really happy that you said that. but it's like it doesn't mean as much as you think it should. So otherwise, yeah, like you said, it's a fine game. I'm taking it for what it is. It's a great story. It's an interesting, eclectic group of characters that you meet, and yeah, that's what that's not half of what I've been playing. I've been jumping around all over the place, but I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Well, we can talk about Outer Worlds 2 in a minute when I get to myself here, but I'd say let's move on to Block and listen to what he's been playing.
Cool.
Older games a little bit. Not that old. I did just finish Unicorn Overlord on Switch.
How many hours?
It wasn't that long for what I thought it was going to be, because it's a good mix of. It's a strategy RPG, so it's a lot like Fire Emblem. It was only about 60. I didn't do everything in the game because I think it's packed with a lot of meaningless, like random battles all over the map. Probably, I think I looked it up and it was like 230 battles, and it's like if you win this one, you get extra stone to build something. It's like I don't need it. And I fell in love with the game for the first probably 15, 20 hours. I thought it was really excellent. It's made by Vanillaware, who did like Dragon's Crown and a whole bunch of other games, and they have a really fantastic art style. A lot of their games really veer into fan service territory with like the Sorceress and Dragon's Crown with like boobs that are like to her knees, and it's just that kind of ridiculous kind of anime art style that they do. This one wasn't too crazy on that, but I thought the character designs and the backgrounds were really, really nice. The story started out pretty interesting, but it didn't develop. It stayed at we need to go kill the big bad guy, and that was it. And you keep kind of waiting for reveals, and there's not too much of that. There's a little tiny bit at the end. But, you go through like 40 hours of no big events. It's just, let's go go beat this like lieutenant to the bad guy. And that's it. So, after about 20 hours, it started to get really samey, which happens with like strategy RPGs, that, you just use the same people doing the same strategy. When there's not much of a story to drive you, it's sort of the lag. But I finished that. Almost finished with Biomutant. It came out a few years ago, I think 2021.
Man, I remember when that game was first announced.
Yeah. It had a lot of hype leading up to it, and then it just kind of disappeared. I'm doing that for my channel as a trash or treasure review, just to see, like, is it really as bad as what people think? It's okay. It falls into that open world RPG trope of just there's too much to do. Sometimes you can get overwhelmed, and everywhere you look, there's something to conquer, something to collect, and it all becomes meaningless after a while. It's like I don't need 50 swords, when I already have this one. And then lastly, I'm finishing up Final Fantasy IV for my History of Final Fantasy series, and I've played through it almost completely in all of its major forms. So the Super Nintendo version, the Game Boy Advance version, the PlayStation 1 version, the PSP version, which I think is the best, and the Pixel Remaster version I am nearly finished with.
Black,
Nice.
as a collector, the things you said break my heart.
Yeah.
As someone that needs to clear all the things on the map, and that is an issue with me, and that was the issue with Unicorn Overlord for me, is I am trying to clear literally everything on the map, but then, like you said, it does kind of get repetitive. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to put this down, and I end up playing something else, and then I try to get back into it. And it's funny because you don't really need to remember too much of what you missed before, because each continent is like its own contained story.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's a few individual storylines with some characters that are nice, but they last for about one battle, maybe two, and then it's just like, okay, that one's done. You never have to speak to them again.
Introduce the next one.
Yeah, and I was like you. I took several breaks. Probably 3 for months at a time. It took me about a year, I think, to finish it because of breaks, but only about 60 hours of actual game time. So
I'm glad you talked about Biomutant too, because it's one of those games where I kept seeing it and I put it off because I had other priorities, but it's a game that goes on sale frequently. I'm like, it's so cheap. Should I get it? And
right. That's really what I try to do with my Treasure videos. A lot of them are games that I see constantly, but I don't hear anyone talk about, or it was really big for a moment and then it disappeared. And games like Biomutant, and I did Cyberpunk after about a year and a half after it came out, because they get updates and they get revisions, and there's new content added, and you get a PlayStation 5 version when it released on PlayStation 4. So like, does this game that came out 5 years or more ago, how does it stand up today, right now, with the current updates, for $20 or less?
Nice.
It's going for $10 on price charting, so like you can buy a used copy of it.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Yeah.
It's a decent game, but again, like Black said, it's a whole lot of fluff in that game. So you can either try to rush through it, or you can go around and explore. It's one of those that you just kind of get to pick and choose how you want to play it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Next up, Steph, what have you been playing?
Well, I would have been playing Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment and could talk to you about it, but I got a text from Best Buy that their delivery would be delayed. Fuck. Why do I buy physical?
It's every time you seem to have an issue with some sort of delay, either from GameStop or Best Buy.
Like
I've been doing Amazon, and Amazon's been pretty consistent with me, I hate to say.
I've done Amazon, and I still get mine a day late. I forgot which one I ordered through Amazon. I think it was Final Fantasy Tactics, and I had to wait 24 hours. I'm like, what the F? I can't order from anywhere and get it the day that it's released. Oh, my cats are fighting. I could see in the... in those watching video, you can see my two cats just going at it.
Yeah, I could see that.
But instead, I've actually been bouncing around a ton of games. Obviously, Silent Hill F, which we'll talk later, so I won't talk about that. Pokemon Legends EA, I mean, I was kind of lukewarm on it to begin with, but I wanted to write some guides from Boss Rush, and I really loved Arceus. Sorry, Pat, you have to hear this 2 times in a row. I don't like it as much as Arceus, but I'm still liking it. I'm more towards the end. I'm rank B, and I'm just kind of banging through all the missions. So it's all right. It's a Pokemon game. My son has since commandeered that cartridge, so now he has it. So I am playing Chronos: The New Dawn on my Switch too.
Yeah,
such a good game, but I wish it had an easy mode. I don't know.
I was going to ask. So I'm a big fan of Bloober Team. Generally speaking, I like the medium. I think they did a good job on Silent Hill 2 remake. Not that I have much to go off on because I'm new to the series. The problem is it took a lot of adjusting playstyle wise, and keep in mind I'm also playing Ghost of Yotei on my PS5. The gameplay is different. In Ghost of Yotei, you can run and dodge and parry and a lot of quick movements to get around your enemy, lots of open space. In Chronos New Dawn, you're in this big, hulking, heavy suit and you move so slow and you can't really dodge. And man, is resource management like pretty intense. And I think that's what you mean, Stoy, where like, oh, maybe I could take it down a notch.
Or at least give me some more ammunition, because it's like you're on, like, it's survival horror with a capital S. Like, you're really looking at your ammunition. Like, I can't survive another onslaught. I can't, because I had just 3. Like, I turned on auto aim just to help with that, and that's significantly improved my gameplay.
I might have to do
because
that.
now I'm not missing shots, because when you miss a shot in that game,
it hurts.
You feel it. Yeah, it hurts a lot.
In fact, I almost kind of, when I say soft locked myself, it's not a true soft locked. I mean, if I got good, as the gamers say, I wouldn't have done this. But the first boss, I thought I had enough ammunition. I did not have enough ammunition. So by the time I spent all my bullets, you had to like blow up 3 different pustules. I was down to the last pustule. And I cleared out everything that was there. I cleared out my inventory. I couldn't make anything else. There's nothing. So I'm like, well, nothing. I can't melee this thing. You can't. So I was like, all right, just fucking kill me and I'll just go buy some more.
Are you guys using the traps that are around the area, though? Like, that thing's weak to fire.
Yeah, but you still have to shoot the thing.
And you got to be timing it right. Like, all of a sudden you shoot it and it's like it doesn't affect the enemy because it's not close enough. You're just like, fuck.
Yeah, so
we're just bad at video games, Pat. Leave us alone.
Yeah. But it's also just getting used to it. So like now that I've put in a couple more hours into it, you know, I do get you get used to it. But you're right, Stoy. Like, I do feel like this is if you want to talk about true survival horror, I mean, this will definitely put you through the ringer. I'm still very early on, but I do like it. I like the premise. I'm pretty sure it would be even more disgusting looking if I played it on a PS5, because you know it runs well on the Switch too, but I now can see kind of it might not be as you know, visually stunning.
The gore isn't as shiny and smooth.
Yeah, but the flesh walls and the body parts and the sound design, because I play this with a headset and you just hear the squelching and the pulsing. I'm like, holy fuck. And the kitties. You pet the kitties.
Yeah.
You must find all the kitties.
Chronos is on the Switch too. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
It's a game key card, but like I'm not as hot and angry about game key cards as a lot of people. A lot of times when I buy these games for the Switch 2 is really more the curiosity of how far I can push the hardware, because otherwise PS5 would have been my ideal platform. But I'm playing Ghost of Yotei on it, and I love it. I still, sorry, Pat, stand by Ghost of Tsushima is still better for me.
Yeah, no, we understand.
But I took down the Oni, as I mentioned in the Boss Rush podcast. I thought I had taken down the Kitsune, and I've hit that twist in the Kitsune. I like the story twist. I do not like the Kitsune section, like all those stupid puzzles that I need to solve constantly. I don't know. I'm just like, just like get me through here in these stupid traps and stuff. But no, still a good time. It's still a Ghost game. It's wonderful. I'm appreciating the slowly fleshing out of Atsu's character. I saw the PlayStation rewards if you platinum the game. I'm like, oh, I want. So
you get it eligible to yeah, I was gonna say, don't you get like a reward to be able to purchase a sweatshirt for $100?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's something. That's what they changed with the PlayStation reward system. It's like the same thing how Nintendo does.
I platinumed it. I need to look into that. Maybe get my $100 sweatshirt.
You should.
I mean, you still got to pay $100 for that sweatshirt, but you get the privilege to buy that $100 sweatshirt.
I'm like one of like, I don't know how many percentage now that can get that sweatshirt now.
So,
Yeah.
Pat, you
I'll have to
platinumed
look
it.
it up.
How many hours did you put into Ghost of Yote?
It was about 60-ish.
All right, it's not bad.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So,
So I'd say, like, depending on how often you get stopped and look around and, take pictures, it's probably somewhere between 60 to 70 hours.
okay. Well, I'm enjoying it. I plan on seeing it to the end. It's high on my list. I don't know how it's gonna do for Game of the Game Awards and all those other award shows because it's been a heavy year. But I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I haven't heard too
Mhm.
much about it after kind of the release window kind of died down. There's a few other games that really have legs, like Expedition 33, that people still talk about right now. But I haven't
Expedition.
heard,
What's that? Expedition? Never heard of it.
Mhm. It's just
Never heard of this game.
It's
Yeah.
some random
some random
game.
game.
Some little old game. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it an RPG? Is it an action game?
Yeah, it's an RPG and an action
Sure.
game.
Okay.
Mhm. Stars.
Yeah,
really good
you
looking
you
fish.
still
I
hear
bet
about
you
that.
Ben Starr is in it. I bet you Ben Starr is in it too.
Mhm.
You would have a few bucks.
Okay. And now you're about to tell me Charlie Cox Daredevil's in it too. You're about to tell me that.
I don't even
Shit,
know.
you
if
not.
Max knows he's in that game.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
He
All right.
might have only had
Whatever.
like 4 hours in the studio, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's what I heard. Yeah.
He just came in, crushed it. Mic drop. I'm out.
Yep. He got all his lines perfect in one go.
Yep. Man's an expert.
Nice.
Anyway.
Yep.
Well, that's what I've been playing. I think that leaves it up to you, Pat.
All right. Well, quickly get this out of the way because, everyone loves me talking about Power Wash Simulator, but Power Wash Simulator is still freaking amazing.
Nice.
2?
I love it.
You're playing 2?
I'm playing 2,
Okay. All right.
and it's so much better than the first one. The first one was amazing, so this is like going all around amazing. Like, it's amazing, and then it goes around in a circle, and it hits amazing again.
Well, that
But
says
it's just
something.
like,
Not a
the
lot of
circle keeps going.
sequels. Not a lot of sequels perform better than the original, so that's great.
Yeah, especially when the first one was like really good, like good enough,
Mhm.
Mhm. But now you get different tools in this one that makes it even better. And the set pieces are much bigger, much more like, I don't know, shape, like a lot. There's some really cool ones. Like, I cleaned a roller disco, and that was
Huh.
like, at first it's like, this thing is huge, but it just, all the colors just start popping, and I got to use like my floor scrubber, and then there was some like slushy on the wall, which made like cleaning normally really hard. So I threw some soap on that and then washed it off and just made a nice clean shine with a nice little ting every time you hit that, you clean off a whole section.
Yep, this is a video game.
It
Well-
is. It is a beautiful video game.
Yeah.
This should be interesting. Like, I wonder what excellent collaborations will happen with this one.
Me too. They're going to have some really good ones, though.
What were
What was
all
it?
the ones in the first one? I've seen a few, but
Final
Yeah,
Fantasy.
I
sounds
remember
like-
the Warhammer.
Mhm.
I remember the Warhammer one.
mhm.
Yep. Warhammer, Final Fantasy VII, Tomb Raider, Shrek, Back to the Future,
Shrek?
Wallace and Gromit.
There was a Futurama one, wasn't there?
No
No?
Futurama.
Okay.
SpongeBob. They had SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But okay, so a game that kind of surprised me that I picked up on a whim because I really wanted something like an open world RPG at that moment, so I decided to pick up Outer Worlds 2. And I'm really enjoying it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Nice.
I'm
But
glad you are.
I'm also thinking I'm playing it wrong because I just listened to the Kind of Funnies Gamecast on their Outer Worlds 2 reviews, and like they describe kind of like a block that I'm feeling at the moment where I'm like spacing out my points. and trying to like build up those perks so that I can do everything, unlock doors, maybe hack, win conversations. Because this is a game that literally you can build your character and use that build to solve a whole lot of problems in this game. However, it doesn't seem quite as enjoyable as how they were describing how they were playing the game, and that is specifically being a role player in this game. Like you create your character with an expectation that this is how your character is going to act in certain situations. You specialize in maybe one or two like perks, and you just dump all your points into those perks, and then kind of use that as your like way to get through the game. You're gonna run into those situations where you won't have the skills to like maybe engineering skills, but you're more of a sneaky bastard and can like pick a lock at ease. You know, the cool thing about this game is that it allows you to use use your abilities to the best of your situation. So you don't necessarily need to have that level 84 lockpick to, you know, complete this mission. There are other ways to getting around it. And I think, luckily, I'm still kind of early on in the game, but I designed my character almost kind of by accident. I was putzing around with the settings, and all of a sudden I realized my character kind of looked like Homelander from The Boys. So I named him Homelander, and I think I need to like stay true to the Homelander kind of style. So going forward, I'm going to be more of an asshole. I gave him like the heroic trait and the leadership trait. So I'm going to try and focus on being a good leader or like a leader, but still kind of be an asshole and be like not necessarily worried about killing people. Like if I need to kill people, then so be it. And just kind of experience this is how Homelander would go through the Outer Worlds too. Because I hear the real joy in this game is then trying a second playthrough with a completely different style of character and trying it that way and just seeing how different this game plays.
It's definitely, I think, the appeal of Baldur's Gate 3 that people have found is just completely role playing and sticking to that thing. And I ran into that with Pillars of Eternity, which Obsidian had done. Making sure to stick to that role play, and then with Fallout New Vegas, which again they also did. I had the
Obsidian's
most fun.
Really good with that. Obsidian's really good with that kind of storytelling.
Absolutely. I had the most fun of instead of playing it like 3, which is very similar of a game in terms of presentation and things, but making sure my character was a sniper and he's a sniper and my points complement being a sniper, and having a companion that would offset some of my shortcomings. Something that I didn't do so much with Fallout 3 and even 4. I had to play it a little bit differently, and I found I enjoyed it more because of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I'm hearing with the Outer Worlds too, is that, yeah, you can have that character where you try to solve everyone's problems and, maybe be the best that you can to do everything, but it sounds like the real fun way to doing it is literally have a character in mind and do your best to role play what would this character do and just see how the game reacts to that.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. You play a bit of it, Stoy. I mean, what's your opinion?
Yeah. I'm playing as the witty guy.
Yeah.
And I always play like every playthrough of any game. I'm always like, I want to be the nice guy, and I just want to help everybody. But I think I was telling you this over text that there's like that first main campaign mission where there's like 4 different ways of tackling it, and depending on where your skills lie, you can kind of go through like, okay, you can attack it by sneaking, you can attack it maybe by lockpicking, you can attack it by doing these certain missions that require these certain skills or these certain perks. And yeah, so it's kind of cool because they give you multiple different options depending on the type of build that you have. I did give myself the perk, or what do they call that? The opposite of a perk. What do they call it? It's like basically like a
debuff or
debuff or a
it's
D
a
skill or
bad
something.
trait, but
Yeah,
a flaw.
a flaw. Yeah. So I had a trait where it's like you can earn 2 perk points. However, you can only use those 2 perk points on your lowest perks. So like I'm like, I don't know. Like, you know how they give you these random ones like, hey, guess what? You have this option. And I was like, this sounds probably the best, so I could be maybe more of a well-rounded character. But I don't know. I'm not far enough to see if that's gonna hurt me or not, but I did get the premium edition for this. I pre-ordered the premium edition on accident.
So you got the consumerism?
Yeah, I was like, this seems like a direct attack, but I played it off like, this is interesting. And then, of course, I read about it the next day, and I'm like, oh, that's not funny at all. But anyway.
No, the game purposely kind of makes fun of your play style, and they will if you play a certain way, the game will give you a perk that can influence that way of play, but also like be something bad if you suck at it.
Yeah, because I heard about that. I heard about that flaw where it's like you're a kleptomaniac, so like anything you look at, you just automatically grab no matter what.
Yeah, it's like you got so good at stealing. You can steal a lot easier, but you also have the tendency of just randomly stealing from people.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you don't even have to like hit a button. You just look at it and then you just steal it. Yeah. So
yeah, apparently there's a flaw where if you look at the sun too much, it can like affect your vision.
Yeah.
Huh.
Or another one called bad knees, where if you're constantly like creeping around, they give you an option where like I think it makes you even stealthier. I think, but
yeah, it makes you stealthier. But if you stand up, your knees crack.
That's hilarious.
And then of course,
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real life.
Yeah, be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I got to applaud Obsidian. And like this is probably one of the best Obsidian games I played. I hear it's not terribly long either, so it does encourage that multiple playthrough style. Like most people are saying they can beat it within like 20 hours.
That's
give
not
or
bad
take,
at all.
depending on whether or not you try to do everything or you play as your character would. So. And then I touched a little bit on Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. It is your standard Warriors game. It does have some cool features with how you can kind of combine your attacks with other characters on the map to do like super attacks. It plays a lot like Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, in my opinion. Mostly in the terms of you get that giant map and you get all those little icons start popping up on the map. And by giving materials, you can probably strengthen or get more moves from your character. Or there are like little mini battles that you can do to level up. I say right now, I'm pretty early in, but the game is very cinematic. And I think that's kind of like one of the perks and one of the reasons why you get Age of Imprisonment. It's not a traditional Zelda game, but it is going to tell you the story about what happens during in the past, where Zelda gets thrown to in Tears of the Kingdom.
This isn't a game. Is this a game key card?
No. This is an actual game.
All right.
On the card because it's partnered with Nintendo, so Nintendo probably wouldn't want that to happen.
All right.
But yeah, it looks like Zelda. Like it is very pretty. It's got all the Zelda sound effects, ranging from the Koroks going "ha ha" to little do 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 do. You know, when you like find something or open up a chest. But like I said, I'm pretty early through. But it seems pretty interesting so far. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
That's about 1 hour playing, 1 to 2 hours of playing it. All right, guys. This is the moment that you've all been waiting for. We are going to be talking about the game of the week, which is Silent Hill F, a game that came out this year, September 25th, 2025, developed by Neobards Entertainment, who made the smash hit RE-Verse, the Resident Evil multiplayer game that literally just kind of was a free game when you got Village. That's how successful that was. But don't let that success get to your head. They might have actually, came out with a decent game this time with Silent Hill F, because it got a Metacritic score of 86, and you can play it right now on PlayStation, Windows, and the Xbox Series X and S. Now, we will be going into spoiler territory, so if you haven't played the game, we highly recommend that you play the game and then come back and listen to this. Otherwise, you can go ahead and just listen to this right now and, enjoy the conversation.
Can I say, from a long-term Silent Hill fan, that this game has divided the fan base so hard?
Let's talk about that. Why is it dividing this fan base?
Because it's not Silent Hill 2.
What?
That is solely the reason. Because Silent Hill 2 set the bar so high that nothing. Silent Hill 2 is such a great game that no other game that comes out in the series is going to get anywhere near it. Like, that's just a matter of fact. Silent Hill 2 was almost like a masterpiece of video games. And a lot of Silent Hill fans are, obviously very partial to that. So anytime something tries to, anytime a Silent Hill game comes out, with the exception maybe 3. 3's gotten pretty close. But, all the Silent Hill franchise failed because the fan base could not grasp the fact that it's like, you can have other Silent Hill experiences, So, like, the discourse around Silent Hill F is, it doesn't take place in Silent Hill. It doesn't take place in America.
That's a big argument I've heard.
Yeah, it's like people's brains cannot comprehend it.
Yeah, there is no other world. It's only Silent Hill by name, and not like the other games. And I'm speaking about the elephant in the room. It's not Silent Hill 2. So like, it's kind of been annoying to read or to even go on like the Silent Hill subreddit, for example, and just listening to those neckbeards like bitch back and forth, because it's a very good horror game on its own. 100%. Is it a good Silent Hill game? I'm gonna say no if you compare it to Silent Hill 2. However, as as a fan of the series from the beginning, I think it deserves to be in there. I just think it deserves to be in that Silent Hill universe. And I'm sure, Block, Mr. Lore Master, there are connections. There are deep connections between the modern day Silent Hill games and this one.
Yeah, you run into that, at least in one particular thing. I don't know if we need to spoil that now. I will say that the part of Silent Hill 4 doesn't take place in Silent Hill. The room of Silent Hill 4 isn't in Silent Hill. Homecoming is not in Silent Hill.
The other one, Silent Hill Downpour.
Downpour is. But even Silent Hill 3 starts in Portland, Maine, for 2/3 of the game.
So may I ask you two veterans, for you guys, what makes a Silent Hill game a Silent Hill game? Or let me rephrase, what makes a game a Silent Hill? Because as a newbie, I actually feel like Silent Hill F is very Silent Hill, but that's from a newbie's standpoint.
It depends on who you ask, because are you talking Silent Hill the location, or are you talking Silent Hill like a state of as a metaphor, or a state of mind, or like a kind of like a
point, right? Because again, I'm a newbie, so don't know if I really have a right to speak to it, but I actually believe that Silent Hill F is very worthy of being in the Silent Hill series, because I view Silent Hill more like a anthology, because you're in a state of psychological hell in Silent Hill F, and that's why I feel like it very, very much qualifies for it, even though it might not be literal.
And I would say, if you just look at the first two games, Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2, they're very different in how they portray that. That in Silent Hill 1, spoilers for a 25-year-old game, Harry Mason is not the one undergoing psychological. He's not working through his brain. It's Alessa Gillespie who's shifted this world and caused things to go wrong. And you're in her nightmare that she's putting this on. And then Silent Hill 2 is it's partially James, and then you have elements of other people within the town. But it's mostly James working through his psychological issues. And then you go back to 3, his issues. Not that I could go on for hours on that,
right? Yeah,
but just putting it like that, it's the town manifesting his terror, his issues. And then with 3, again, it's Alessa in a way. We won't get into that. 4 is another character that has other people. These people are not psychotic. They're the main character isn't. He's not, a serial killer. He's not.
Yeah.
But it's somebody else.
Yeah. 4 is being warped by the serial killer.
Yes.
Yeah. It's his nightmare.
Who's not the protagonist. So it goes back and forth, and I think the games after 4 really wanted to try to emulate 2 to a fault. I think
else was about the main character and their psychological warfare.
Yeah, and so I think F does a good job just taking that into effect. That it's a bit of both. That without getting into the nitty gritty of it, that Ebisogalka is being changed, being twisted by Hinako's her inner problems, her issues, but then it's also being affected by other characters, namely the fox mask man who is Soneki Karayuki, and the Nari cult, we'll call them, have also changed things. And so I think Silent Hill F has a lot of parallels with Silent Hill 1. If you take, it's almost a remake of 1 in a different setting in parts. But it's also her torment, her problem. She's not trapped in Alessa's dream, her nightmare.
Yeah, I think the one major connection between that one and 1 I know is the pills that she takes.
Yeah.
Because it's like a psychedelic, psychotropic type of drug that she was taken for her headaches, but they were causing lucid dreams to her. Which the more times you beat it, the more you get to understand her torment. Like you find other letters of like seemingly she's writing it, at least how I understand it. She's writing it saying like, I'm having these lucid dreams and I'm starting to see myself in these dreams, another version of me, which kind of starts to explain a little bit of like the disconnect between Hinako and then Shimiaki Hinako, I think, because like she's referring to herself in 2 different I mean, her full name as one, and then Hinako as another one. So it's like
there are 2
Mm-hmm.
in a way.
Yeah.
There's
So,
the inner and the reality.
Yeah, that was the one connection I saw between the original one, that it was like they referenced that in the first game, like the cultists were taking these psychedelic drugs that induce these hallucinations, like some god Samael is supposed to come and cleanse the world and stuff. And anyway,
It's White Claudia.
White Claudia, that was it.
Yeah, it was very similar to peyote plants. And so you learn in the old Silent Hill games that the the indigenous people that lived on Toluca Lake, they would take White Claudia, this peyote like plant, that would go on spirit walks, and they would speak, communicate with the dead. And at first, they kind of worshipped it. This was a gift from God. This is wonderful. But then they started to see, like, that this plant that grows on the shoreline of Toluca Lake, and the lake may be corrupted by some kind of dark deity. This is kind of Lovecraftian figure that we never see. But it's like a cursed place. Let's just leave it at that. And so the plant that's native to that land that grows on the lake is a cursed plant. And so it made you hallucinate, but it also, I think, makes you confront your deepest, darkest fears and can bring those to life. And that can be debated in whatever way, how much of it's real or any of the games real, all of this. But the long and short of it is that the plant caused these issues, at least in Silent Hill 1. And so, the Europeans come in and they adopt the plant into their own ceremonial use. And it doesn't get brought up in other Silent Hill games, but it's a huge part of Silent Hill 1 in reading how Dr. Kaufman at the hospital is prescribing this medication that's under the table, and it's likely indoctrinating people into the order, the local cult. He's scamming people out of a lot of money. And so there's a big part of Silent Hill 1 where you wonder, is everyone high? Is it all a huge drug hallucination? I don't think that's true. I think that's a part of it. But you can argue, there's enough evidence there that you can argue that maybe everyone's just whacked out of their mind on this highly, this drug. And the Higginbotham
alluded to in the ending of Silent Hill F, or at least the first ending, was that all this was due to the drug, like making her hallucinate and then go absolutely insane and murder.
Which we definitely saw in that. Once she left her house, Hinako really loses it.
Well, and everything starts to go really downhill. When she first meets Shu, and he gives her the pills, and she takes one, and that's right when the fog monster appears. And if you go into the other endings, it goes into a whole lot more depth on the Higginbotham, which is the flower. They're red spider lilies, is what that translates to in Japanese. They don't
Which
exist.
Explains the look of the flowers. All over.
But what you can see in the very first playthrough, when you get to Shu's house, if you go around to the back where the shed is, that you can find a whole lot of pills. If you've done this, there's a small pond, and the pond has white flowers all around it, and they look like lilies. And if you do other playthroughs, you learn where those flowers came from.
Okay.
Silent Hill.
Pretty much.
Connection. It's a Silent Hill game.
So in the first Silent Hill, you learn that Dahlia Gillespie, who's kind of the main villain in a way,
As foretold by Gyromancy.
Yeah. There's a note that says that in 1963, she was in Russia. And she was in Russia to look for the star Bethlehem, which is actually a flower in Russia or within that region. But it's also believed to have some holy connections, and it's one of the things that you use in Silent Hill 2 in the secret ending. The one where he's wanting to rebuild the cult to bring Mary back to life. That I don't think is canon at all.
No.
But it's very similar to the White Claudia. And I theorize that the game takes place in 1962. Silent Hill F does. And if she's in Russia the next year, you also find a note that in the second playthrough that right at the very beginning, if you may have missed it, that they say that somebody, like a missionary, had visited the town and spoken with them and exchanged gifts.
Yep.
And I fully believe that she brought some White Claudia and exchanged it to the people because she's collecting in Silent Hill 1 kind of holy artifacts that may belong to these godly like beings, these deities, similar to what's in Toluca Lake.
It's an interesting connection. So what's Hinako going through right now in this whole world, I guess? It'd be an interesting place to start. Because separate from the hallucinations, because the game gives you a very stark warning about the cultural differences, especially in 1960s post-war Japan, and the kind of like the what's the word? The responsibilities of a young Japanese woman at this time, especially one her age.
I am not a young Japanese woman born in the 1960s, but I do have some Asian background. I'm happy to kind of touch upon that. But before I do, I just also want to quickly throw in, I think another point of contention, and it was before the game was released, though, was gameplay, because people were complaining like, oh, it's almost Souls-like in gameplay, and they made a big stink about it. But I don't know, as you guys played, I would not say it's anywhere near it. Sure, there's dodging and stuff, but like I think that was a bit like overinflated. So
dodging in a stamina bar, that is about as close to Dark Souls as you got.
Well, exactly. Yeah. So I think that was just a stupid loud minority. So Hinako is struggling with, her identity in the role of a female in those times. And I think this is why this game resonated with me a lot, because the expectations of being a girl, you must be feminine, delicate, dress like a girl, behave like a girl, quote unquote. And the game opens where she's kind of playing pretend with her doll, and I believe it is her sister who's asking why she's not playing with her friends. She goes, "The girls, they make fun of me because I play with boys." Mm-hmm. So
there's one distinction that I don't think many people catch, is that Hinako, when she's playing with the doll is her, and she's role-playing as her sister. Mm-hmm. So she's asking the doll as her sister, why isn't she doing these things? And she's giving the response that she wishes that she could give.
Doesn't her sister talk to her though? Also, like she's shouting, like, "Oh!"
She right after that, she wakes up on her front porch on the first playthrough, and sees her sister, and they hug.
Okay, and her sister.
There's no dialogue there.
She goes off and gets married. And then you'll see throughout the game, basically, Hinako is just struggling with her friendships. So that's one big part of it. Friendships, the dynamic, because her closest friend or her partner is a male, Shu, which is like a big thing back then. But also her home life, her domestic life. Her father is a drunk. He has anger issues. And as you learn throughout your playthrough or secondary playthrough, there's some debt that's involved. And, girls were still kind of seen as kind of things
bargaining chips,
sell off to. Bargaining chips. So
that was kind of funny.
Yep.
Yeah, that was kind of funny, like how the opening cutscene, like the fight, that's like in the first playthrough, like it's Hinako's mom and dad fighting and throwing something at Hinako, and then in the second playthrough, they're like actually talking about arranging this marriage for her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I remember when I fired up the second playthrough, I was like, oh, this is different. You know.
Yeah, I like how different the second subsequent playthroughs are, and I think the arranged marriage is laid on more thick in the second playthrough, and then overall there is a lot of themes. The theme is like she's struggling whether or not to give in to these cultural expectations of which she hates, but in order to do that, she has to kind of kill herself, not literally, kill her friends, literally or figuratively, depending on how you you know what I'm saying? So, it's just like hating yourself so much, being willing to just completely destroy yourself to live up to these expectations. Oh, it hits me in the feels.
Yeah. It did too a little bit.
Kind of crazy about that though is I only played through the first playthrough, but I was kind of getting the feeling that as she was trying to rebel, she was conforming to what the fox wanted her to be. So in a sense, like I don't know, she was almost tearing her true identity up and becoming what the rest of society wanted. At least that was kind of like my interpretation of what the fox was doing to her, that the dark world wasn't liberating her from the world, it was bringing her back into it.
I think you don't understand it when you first play it. But the distinction of two Hinakos is that when she wakes up in the Dark Shrine world, you're not playing as the same character.
Yeah.
And you kind of get that by the end. And the Dark Shrine Hinako is, she's cautious of the fox, but she's not listening, or she's completely oblivious to all of the warnings that the doll is giving her. And the doll is the other Hinako that we play as in the fog world. That's screaming, "Do not do this. You will kill me."
Yeah. You remember, I think there was that one scene I think when you're fighting against Rinoko. I think, am I saying that name right?
Rinko,
yeah. Where like Rinko. Right before that boss battle, it's like you got that big stark message. You are Himikai Hinako, or what I'm just forgetting her name all the time. But
Shimizu.
Shimizu Hinako, yeah. So
yeah, and there's the thought, that they're like Shimizu Hinako's dead.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no. And she is, because she's gonna take on a new name. That Shimizu Hinako is dead. That getting married and having kids and giving up your aspirations and your social life, she dies. And I think it's also seen in the ritual that takes place about midway, is that she gives up a piece of herself. She cuts off her arm, her right arm, her dominant hand, and replaces it with one that mimics her husband, or at least the Fox cult, the family that he belongs to. That now he makes the decisions. It's his power that makes her strong. And then she's branded with the Inari cult symbol. That's ownership. That she becomes his property. And then she tears off her face and replaces it with the fox mask. And that's her full change of identity. That she has become part of his family. That she has become part of him. And, you know, and the why other people don't look like that is because they have fully given in to this aspect. That they have fully given in to, they're happy. But she's rebelling against that. So she sees a vile monster. And then when that same creature, of course, is mimicked when it comes to the fog world as the fog monster. That it has the fox arm. And
the wedding
name. Go ahead.
Oh, and the fog monster is her with the wedding outfit on.
Yeah, that its name,
no face.
Yeah, and no face at all. That she doesn't have an identity. And its name is literally what the wedding dress is in Japanese, the traditional wedding dress. Another neat tidbit about names is that all the women, except for Kimmy, her mom, of the main cast, have K.O. in their name. Hinako, Rinko, Sakako, Junko. And Ko in Japanese, what does it mean? Do you guys know?
Nope.
Essentially it means child. It can be used in a bunch of different ways, but Hinako means baby bird or chick.
Yeah.
You get that message and the thing. It can also mean, if it's Hinako, is doll, plaything.
Well, when you play it in Japanese, they call her Hinako.
Yeah.
But in American, I played it in Japanese first, and then playing with the American English voice acting, they pronounced it differently, which I was kind of like, whatever. I guess I didn't think anything of it until now. I'm thinking about it.
It's kind of a dual twist on both meanings of the name. The kanji also being used means doll. But the way they pronounce it is baby bird, and they even say baby bird. But the KO became very, very, very popular in female names not long after the war, starting in about 1955, lasting through the 1970s. And it was because of a movement in Japan that was really, really, really hammering in that our women were working during the war, and our women were dying for the war. We had women enlisting in the military in the war, and we cannot have the women rising up. It was a call to have them become more subservient and return to housewife-like status, traditional status. And so they started putting it in the names that women started have when they were being born. They gave them the KO, the child, in their name as a further means of letting them know that you are always a child. You are always going to belong to somebody. That there's always going to be somebody that has to look after you. And so there's a lot of papers that have been done, in the decades later about the harm that the KO and people's names put on people. That there was, people growing up and realizing that, it's not foreign to them that they have child in all of their names.
So, what do you guys think of the monsters in Silent Hill F as a reflection of the themes? The one that's most obvious to me is it's that monster lady with the pregnant bellies all over her and
Mhm.
births out stuff.
I found
The
it
expectation
interesting
of the
that
young Japanese female, I guess. That's all you're good for, I guess.
No, I find it very interesting that when you're in the fog world, the creatures are all fleshy. However, when you're in the shrine world, they're mechanical. It's almost like, and now when you find out that they're two separate Hinakos and two separate worlds, it's like you see the clash of the worlds, fighting against each other. The dolls or the mechanics are in the shrine world are, fighting against the fleshy creatures, that are invading the fog world. But they're also like the same kind of creature. They're just two different forms.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And also with the Hatcher enemy, I mean, it has two different names because it's basically the same enemy. I repeat it. It's reclined.
Oh yeah.
It's giving birth.
Yeah.
And then screaming suddenly.
Yeah,
you got that massive doll monster of just all the doll heads.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. And then you got the amalgamation of like all those like male heads too, which is kind of similar to that doll. Kind of like you said, Pat, in that kind of other worlds, the shrine worlds. Yeah, it's like a mechanical doll head creature. And then in the real world, it's like a full of like men's faces or something like that. But I was kind of trying to understand. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the enemy I hated, though, the one that I could not stand, was that disgusting one that licks you.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that because I'm like,
be the monkey.
So what's really
gross
interesting
representation of that? Blocks about to tell us.
I have to find it in my notes here. I
have a feeling I know what it's like, what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Irohihi, or Hi. Hi is a baboon creature in Japanese mythology. It's like it drinks a lot, it smells, it harasses people, and so it's become a derogatory term
for a drunk,
or like dirty old man.
Ooh.
Yeah. I thought
I got a dirty old man on my arm.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. You got a dirty old man on your arm, Pat.
I even got one that's bathing, but it's upside down.
That's for Boss Rush After Dark.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. He was just so annoying to fight, though. He's very fast.
Yeah.
Dirty.
Well, and the Ero part is pervert. And so you can look at it two different ways. Either she was or she fears. I'm going to say probably a little bit of both of just how men in 1960s Japan and 50s, either she was sexually assaulted or she feared. She had there were men coming after her, wanting her to be married or get with her, whatever. But it's concretely, it's that men, especially older men, there's so many of these dirty old man perverts that are drinking and chasing you and laughing and licking and touching, and they're like monkeys. And I think concretely, that's what that is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, nailed 100%.
It. Gross. Yeah.
All right. I want to talk just a little bit about the gameplay itself, though. And what you guys think of it? Like, in a way, it was kind of, as Steph alluded to, people have referred to as a Dark Souls game because it had a few mechanics that weren't in other Silent Hills, such as the dodging mechanic, which Hinako, as a track star, could literally dodge across the entire screen.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, but you can run out of stamina quick. I died a few times because I hit dodge too much.
Yeah, same. Same.
Did you guys play on story mode the first time?
First time I did, yeah.
See, what I really hated, and I did it as a let's play the entire first playthrough. I got stuck on that screen on difficulty for a good 5 minutes or more because I'm like, story mode in any other game is like, I want to play the game and see the story.
Easy, yeah, like extremely easy.
That's really easy, and the description is the classic Silent Hill experience, and like even normal on almost every Silent Hill, I don't think is very hard.
Yeah.
I might die a few times, but it's not anything crazy. And then the hard mode, the description is just for those familiar with action horror games. Like, I'm familiar with action horror games. I've played a lot of action horror games. I guess I'm going hard, and I want a normal mode. And that first playthrough on hard killed me. It was so like, oh my god, like this is ridiculously hard. So anyone that hasn't played it listening to this, but it wants the whole thing spoiled for them anyway, so I don't know why you're listening to play it on story the first time.
Story is normal mode. Story is normal mode.
Yeah, I hated the description on that.
Probably just a weird Japanese translation issue.
And for those who are trophy collectors, you literally have to play all 3 difficulties. You cannot play hard mode and get the story mode trophy. You have to do both playthroughs. Yeah,
at least on puzzle. You get both in the action difficulty part, but those work. But on puzzle, you have to do it 3 times.
So, as someone that's kind of newer to the franchise, I think it tracks where Silent Hill's strength isn't necessarily in the combat. It was okay. It was serviceable. I was fine with it. I didn't mind, the fact that there's a durability with the weapons. The sanity was another interesting addition to the complexity of gameplay. And then there's stamina. When I was upgrading myself, like praying, I was going straight for stamina.
Yeah, sanity was like the last thing I tried to update because the sanity meter was interesting, but it was also like I didn't quite fully understand it. Like, I knew it was for concentration, but then, like, what happened when you lose all your sanity?
You lose your health faster.
It starts draining your health a little bit. Sanity always... And I'll admit, I didn't fully understand it until my second playthrough.
I'm understanding it now.
I was so confused on it, and on the on my stream, I was just like, I don't get... When you run out, it drains your health slightly, but your stamina will always regenerate.
Yeah.
So if you stand still or anything, it will regenerate slowly, and you can equip things that will make it go up quicker. But you'll lose health slightly, and if it's already low and you get caught in someone screaming or something like that causes it, then it'll take all your stamina or your sanity, and then it'll work on your health. So you want to keep it some reserve. And I found it most helpful when I recognize an enemy's attack, that they sometimes will have that flash of red for me to counter, to then start holding in the focus.
Which, Pat, you could attest to me. I am colorblind with reds. I never see that shit coming. I never see that shit coming.
It's literally a blink. It's so small.
Even still, I can't. I maybe catch it sometimes, like depending on the background that the enemy's at. But I'm colorblind with reds in video games, so it's like it's tough for me to see it. So like I rarely counter.
And I didn't mind.
The game didn't have a colorblind mode?
Not that I saw. I don't know. I should look, actually. Usually that's one of the first things I look at.
No.
Anyway,
I didn't mind things like weapon durability and all of that because it's a survival horror game, and I think that really works for survival horror. What I didn't like about the combat is that the mechanics in the game actively discourage you from fighting. So there's weapon durability, there's limited items, there's no experience, enemies don't drop anything. There's really no good reason to fight. And that's a big
that's
difference.
at the end when they force you to fight.
Well, that's the thing, is that, however, there are too many areas, especially at the end, where you're forced to fight way too many enemies at once, especially on hard and Lost in the Fog difficulties. And when you couple that with the weapon durability and everything, and enemies not giving much indication for some attacks, because I think especially with like the kashimashi, the doll-like enemies, that most of them attack with their quick attacks, with very little indication that they're even going to attack. And there's no like invincibility frames, so that you can get juggled by all the enemies around you really quickly on the harder difficulties. And that dodge window, because it's just a blink, it's just so small. I think all of that coupled in, it makes for a more like frustrating experience than fun on the harder difficulties. But that's just how I felt on the actual combat. On the puzzles, I thought the puzzles were interesting, but I didn't like their execution a lot of times. So like the scarecrow puzzle, I thought, oh, this is really interesting. But I had a hard time figuring out exactly what it wanted me to do.
I want to say the last two kind of struggle. I struggled a little bit too with like, what are they asking?
Yeah.
And it was almost like up to interpretation. There was like the one where it was like, I wish you smiled at me that way. And you're trying to find the doll of him, but like you actually should have been finding the doll of her instead. I was like, oh, okay. All right. That makes sense.
And I think my favorite was the locker puzzles with the girl code.
Yeah.
And trying to figure that out. The problem is on all other playthroughs, it barely changes.
Yeah, I don't think it does change. I think
there's one that does for sure on all the difficulties. But it's one note. You don't have to go on the second floor at all of the school. You get that one note, and it's in the connection. You go into the other building, you get it, and the lockers, the locker room's already open. All the other ones are the code's the same, so it kind of ruined the fun of that.
Yeah, now some of those puzzles did give me, like, I did have to look up, like, probably one of the final ones where you had, like, you had the rooms with the fox statues, and then you moved to, you eventually got these medallions, and you had to put them in,
the
like,
mural?
one of 15 slots in the mural. It's like, I didn't quite understand that one. It's like, oh, the fox was leading this, the sparrow to fight each other, and it's like, so where does that go in the placements?
Yeah.
I had to Google. I think one of the first ones where you have to find the different when you go into the other world the first time around. Yeah, and you had to like
where to put them.
Yeah, and like you had to find like the last one, whatever it was, and I was like, I got no idea what this is, so I had to Google like what this means in Japanese, or what the Japanese is of. What's the English translation of it is. I think it was like turtle or something like that or whatever. And I was like, okay, all right. I guess that's what a turtle is.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Or a cherry blossom in the puzzle box.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I was like, dude, all these things look like cherry blossoms. Come on, man.
Yeah. All right,
so I had to Google cherry blossom and I'm like, okay, think I can figure it out.
Yeah. All right, so let's kind of give our final like opinion. Like out of 10, what would we say this game is? I'll go ahead and go first. I would say I really enjoyed it. But the game definitely has its flaws, like we mentioned just now, the puzzles. And I wish there was a little more enemy variety in the game as well, instead of just kind of having the two versions of the same enemies. But overall, I would probably say this game was like a 7.5 out of me, out of 10. Like I enjoyed it, but there were things that could have been better.
Yep. For me, I'm going to say 9 out of 10. I would hesitate to say if Expedition 33 didn't come out this year, that maybe this would have been my game of the year. I think it stands up as one of the best Silent Hill games in the franchise. I thought all the interesting lore and all the everything under the kind of like the veil or beneath the fog of like what's going on, even like the local town lore is so interesting, with the lightning that strikes the tree and the dragon mythos within the Shinto religion. Like there's so many
dragon.
Yeah, with so many things to like absorb in this game that it's like it kind of throws you for a loop, because it's like, what are we really here for? And I just love Hinako's story, and her, I guess, de-evolution into just being another Japanese woman, in the 60s. But the combat was always frustrating to me, but there is not a single, and I will fight anybody to this, there is not a single Silent Hill game made that has good combat. It is impossible. It is literally a staple of the whole franchise. If Silent Hill 2 were to come out now in its original form, it would be destroyed, because that combat is so clunky. It's so clunky. But to me, that's like an enduring trait of Silent Hill. It's like it leaves you vulnerable because you're not playing as a Leon Kennedy or Chris Redfield in this game. The one, like I said, the one thing I wish didn't exist in this game was the small corridor battles that you get, and of course, naturally, if you swing, sometimes you hit that wall, and yeah. But great game.
Steph?
I'll have to I mimic Stoy. I was thinking a 9 out of 10, because may not be a perfect game, but this is definitely probably one of my game of the year contenders, because I haven't played Expedition 33 yet, because I'm still waiting for a physical copy, because I'm an idiot. And I feel like a lot of what Stoy has said is how I see it as well. Like the combat not being perfect is forgiving, because it more than makes up for the visual effects. Major tryptophobia warning for people, by the way, for some moments. Sound design is fantastic. I love the mesh of the Japanese lore and or the cult stuff, but also the actual like psychological trauma that Hinako's going through, whether it is the issue with her parents, dad being an alcoholic, being just bargained off, having to just serve at the whim of others, but not being allowed to have agency, and having to hate yourself. And also like the kind of maybe secondary themes of like bullying and the pettiness that goes on in school, which might seem like child's play to adults, but a lot of that can be very traumatizing. Bullying has a lot of impact on people. So there's just a lot of themes that I felt were relatable in a way, for me especially. And all just artfully done. And the fact that the replayability is very high. Like it's not just, I'm going to play this game again to maybe pick up any missing notes and maybe do an action or two to get a different ending. No, you get layers more of lore.
Yeah.
And it rewards you significantly for the replay. So that's why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
And I like that the game respects you as a player to like give you the parameters of like, hey, if you want this ending, these are some of the parameters that you have to do. You have to get the sword, or you have to like don't use any of the red pills and stuff. And and then obviously the UFO ending, they give you that.
Oh yeah. Side note: I got all the posters for the UFO, so I was so excited at the UFO ending. But I think I went a step too far to be able to get back to the general store where you need to trigger the ending. I was pissed. Like, damn it. But I just, one final line is like, I think Konami's heading in the right direction. I'm glad that they went with this Japanese theme, because they were talking during the Silent Hill transmission, like they want to work with, the cultures that they're more familiar with and have a little bit more freedom there. I feel like they carried the essence of Silent Hill. They changed it up. You can't replicate the lightning in the bottle that Silent Hill 2 was. You just can't.
Yeah, you
just
can't.
do something different.
Can't.
So
I'm glad they did it.
I'm hopeful for Konami. All right, Block, take us home.
Yeah, and for me, personally, it would be a high 9. Because I love all the things that you guys have already mentioned. I think it does add a good layer to the original Silent Hill mythos. It borrows a lot of elements that we've come to love over 25 years of the series. It's closest, I think, to the first game in terms of themes. Because there's such a huge focus on the cult, the Inari religion, while other games have, I would say most games after 2 have focused on the psychological horror aspect, and I think this does a good balancing act of both, of exploring the cult and having that a central figure, but also providing a psychological horror atmosphere and story that defines the series, I think, more now. I think if I was grading it for everyone as a big catch-all, I think it would be closer to an 8. Because I think the combat's not going to fit for everybody. It's going to frustrate, I think, a lot more, especially casual gamers. It's going to frustrate them too much. And I think just in general, I think for most people, it would fit closer to like a 7.5 to an 8. If you're a big fan of horror and Silent Hill, I think it's a 9 and above. So yeah, I had a lot of fun replaying it, and I think you have to get all of the main endings, not the UFO one, but the other endings to understand.
Block, that's a main ending. Stop. Block, that's a main ending.
Canon, okay?
The dog, and you also, the dog's been running it the whole time. Everything.
Yeah.
I do think that the UFO ending gives a new perspective on some things. I don't think it's useless at all. I really loved it.
Space Wars.
Yeah. But the 4 main endings, I think you have to have them all to get a good picture. And most games you don't have to do that. And
the nice thing is that with each subsequent playthrough, it's shorter, especially in terms of like it almost misses, like you almost like skip like key parts of the game. Like when I'm playing it through the second time, all of a sudden I go from one dream world sequence to all of a sudden now I have all the powers. It's like I skip that whole you skip that whole sequence of like, her putting on the fox mask and her grafting the arm on her. Getting branded, all that stuff. So it's it was kind of interesting to be like, okay, all right, we're going through this game a little faster, but fair warning, don't go too fast. You may miss some key things.
Yeah.
Stephanie knows what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching and listening to the Boss Rush Gamecast, the place where you go for the deeper dive into the games that matter. Stoy, Black, where can people find you guys?
I am on the Hair of the Dogcast podcast. A couple local guys I record with. I also run my own solo podcast called Retro XP, where all I talk about is retro video games. I talk about actually retro video gaming news because, gamers are getting older. They're getting more nostalgic for the retro space. So it's kind of fun to talk about what's new in the world, and also kind of celebrating a lot of the history of a lot of games, a lot of game series. I did a kind of like a big series on the Ninja Gaiden series,
Nice.
old and new,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to be doing a Halo one, Halo 1 through Reach, basically. So that should be coming up soon on the docket.
And
Very
you can
cool.
find me on YouTube, primarily Blocks Gaming Reviews. You can either on Facebook and Blue Sky and Instagram, Blocks Gaming Reviews or Blocks Game RVWS, because I can't fit the whole thing into the URL. I cover horror games a lot. I do series Treasure, where I look at lesser known games and see how they hold up today, if they really are worth the money, like Biomutant. I do RPGs. I'm doing a history of Final Fantasy series right now, and yeah, that's what I have cooking right now.
Yeah, check out Black's content. I mean, if you listen to this podcast, you already know he's got the information. So
And that
he
silky
takes a
smooth
lot of
voice.
research on that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. It's good for NPR.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, thanks for watching, and we will catch you later.
Bye. Happy gaming.
Goodbye.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Christian S. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.